Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always up for a good story.
Well, get ready, because today we're heading to ancient China, diving into the legend, the myth, the agricultural innovator, Emperor Yan.
Oh, I see where we're going with this.
Yeah.
The OG foodie.
Exactly. But honestly, where do we even start with a figure like this? I mean, the source material paints him as this almost mythical figure.
A blend of history and mythology. It's a common thread, right?
Yeah, like one version of his birth story talks about a golden dragon.
And a dragon, right?
Another mentions the Dragon King's seventh son, kind of like, what? He failed out of dragon school, so they sent him to rule humanity.
Sounds about right. Though, to be fair to the seventh son, we're comparing it to today. That's like being a high schooler. Not exactly known for their patience and wisdom.
True. Very true. Though I feel like most high schoolers aren't visited by golden dragons. But, okay, point taken. Maybe we shouldn't take these stories literally.
Right, but think about it. These myths, these legends, they offer a glimpse into how ancient cultures understood the world, their values, their beliefs.
So it's less about a literal dragon and more about what the dragon represents.
Exactly. Power, fertility, good fortune, these were all associated with dragons in ancient China. So associating Emperor Yan's birth with these creatures, it suggests he was destined for great things.
Chosen to lead, perhaps.
Exactly. And, if we're to believe the source material, his people needed that leadership. They were facing some serious challenges. Dwindling food supplies.
Makes sense. They hadn't invented agriculture yet, right?
Not quite. They were relying on hunting and gathering, and let's just say it wasn't going so well. Animals were becoming scarce, either overhunted or driven away.
I can imagine. That's got to be stressful.
It was a matter of survival. Imagine the pressure on Emperor Yan to find a solution. People are hungry, resources are scarce.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly, and it makes his story all the more compelling.
So how does a leader facing starvation, dwindling resources, what does he do? How does Emperor Yan tackle this crisis?
Well, according to the legends, the answer came from a rather unexpected source.
Okay, let's hear it.
Picture this, Emperor Yan out, maybe walking, observing nature, when he notices something we might easily overlook, a tiny seedling sprouting from, get this, a rotting piece of fruit.
Talk about a light bulb moment.
Right. Today we understand the cycle of plants, seeds, growth, but for Emperor Yan, this was revolutionary.
It's like suddenly the world revealed one of its biggest secrets.
Exactly. And this seemingly simple observation, this rotting fruit with a seedling, this sparked the concept of agriculture.
A pretty big deal, to say the least. I mean, that's the foundation of civilization as we know it.
No overstatement there. But realizing the potential of agriculture, that's just step one, right?
Right, because they can't exactly start planting in a wasteland.
Precisely. The land they were on, it was already depleted. They needed somewhere new, somewhere fertile. And that's where their journey takes, shall we say, an adventurous turn.
Oh yeah, this is where the source material gets really interesting. It mentions encounters with wolves, tigers, even leopards, right? Like their welcoming committee to the new land.
They were navigating a world where these predators roamed free. Imagine the courage, the resilience it took to face those challenges head on.
And they weren't exactly singing Kumbaya with the wildlife, right?
Not quite. In fact, the source material even mentions the tribe complaining, wanting to turn back, understandably so. But Emperor Yan, he pressed on. He had this vision, this unwavering determination to find a better future for his people.
Talk about leadership. Facing down tigers, silencing the doubters, all while searching for the perfect plot of land to plant some hemp.
And as if the wild animals weren't enough, their journey eventually leads them to, well, a slight obstacle.
Ah, yes, the legendary 360-layer ladder. I mean, when I first read that, I thought, okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, right?
360 might be a tad hyperbolic, but the source material is clear they were facing a massive mountain.
And instead of turning around, they said, let's build a ladder.
Essentially, they used natural materials, vines, branches, to build this, for lack of a better term, ancient mega ladder. It's a testament to human ingenuity.
And can we just take a moment to appreciate that this wasn't just a ladder, it was a feat of engineering.
Absolutely. They had to figure out structural integrity, stability, all with the materials at hand.
It's amazing to think that the principles behind that ancient ladder, they're still used today, right? Scaffolding, construction, it's all connected.
That's the thing about these early innovations. They have this ripple effect, influencing technologies and ideas for generations to come. But even after conquering the mountain, their challenges weren't over.
Oh, right, because now they're in a new land, surrounded by all these unfamiliar plants. And Emperor Yan, being Emperor Yan, decides to test them out personally.
He was nothing if not thorough. But you're right, it was a risky strategy. The source material tells of him ingesting a toxic plant, almost dying.
That's where the Lingzi mushroom comes in, right?
Exactly. According to the legends, this mushroom, readily available in their new home, it acted as an antidote, saving his life. And, it's worth noting, the Lingzi mushroom, it holds a special place in Chinese culture, often associated with healing, longevity, even immortality.
So it's not just a random mushroom, it's like this symbol of resilience, of overcoming adversity.
Exactly. And eventually, after a lot of, let's call it field research, Emperor Yan identifies the 5 grains: hemp, millet, rice, wheat, and beans.
Which, if you're keeping score, is a pretty big deal.
Monumental, in fact. These 5 grains, they became the foundation of their agriculture, the cornerstone of their civilization.
Okay, so they've got the 5 grains, the foundation of their agriculture. But I'm guessing it wasn't all smooth sailing from there.
You'd be right. Imagine trying to cultivate enough food for an entire tribe using nothing but, well, their hands.
Not exactly the model of efficiency.
Not at all. And this is where Emperor Yan, ever the innovator, he steps in again. The source material highlights the invention of the lacy.
The lacy sounds like some ancient mystical artifact. What is it?
It's what we know today as the plow.
A plow. Really? That's what revolutionized their agriculture.
It might not sound glamorous, but trust me, it was a game changer. Think about it. The plow, it allowed them to cultivate larger areas of land with more efficiency, leading to larger harvests.
Which means more food, a growing population, and the ability to support larger, more complex societies.
Precisely. It's a perfect example of how a seemingly simple tool can have a monumental impact. But, of course, more food also presents a new set of challenges.
Like how to cook it all.
Exactly.
How?
You've got all this grain, and I'm guessing roasting it over an open fire wasn't going to cut it.
That's where pottery comes in, right?
You know your ancient Chinese history. The source material describes Emperor Yan introducing pottery, and it's another one of those innovations that seems so simple, yet so profound.
Because it's not just about having a fancy new pot, it's about what that pot represents, right? The ability to boil water, to make soups, porridges. It's a whole new level of culinary sophistication.
And a healthier one, too.
Right. No more just charred meat and raw vegetables.
That completely transformed their relationship with food.
It makes you wonder if Emperor Yan, as he was watching them make their first clay pots, did he realize what he'd set in motion? The invention of pottery. I mean, that's huge.
Well, he might have been too busy with his next project, because, believe it or not, he wasn't done. Next up, timekeeping.
Timekeeping. What's that got to do with food and agriculture?
Everything. Agriculture is cyclical, right? There are seasons for planting, for harvesting. They needed a way to track those cycles, to know when to sow, when to reap, when to prepare for the leaner months.
So he invents a calendar.
Not exactly an iPhone calendar, but you're getting the idea. He observes the movements of the sun and the moon, establishing a system for tracking the seasons, ensuring they could plan and prepare for the year ahead.
That's brilliant. But it also makes you realize how interconnected all of this is. It's not just about agriculture in isolation. It's about astronomy. It's about technology. It's about understanding the natural world and using that knowledge to their advantage.
Exactly. And as their society evolves, as their needs change, so too do their innovations. Which brings us to, perhaps, the most unexpected development of all, clothing.
Clothing. Okay, now I'm really curious. What's the story there?
So picture this. Emperor Yan, he is observing his people, and he notices that their attire, well, it leaves something to be desired.
I can only imagine what they were wearing before.
Think leaves, animal skins, not exactly practical or particularly comfortable.
Not exactly a fashion statement.
So using hemp, a plant they were already cultivating for food and fiber, he introduces the concept of woven clothing.
Emperor Yan, the trendsetter. Who knew? But seriously, it makes you think, clothing, it's more than just a necessity. It's a form of self-expression, right? It's a way to communicate identity, status, even individuality.
Absolutely. And it's another example of how Emperor Yan's innovations, they weren't just practical. They helped shape their culture, their beliefs, their very sense of self.
So we've gone from a mythical birth to revolutionizing agriculture to making sure everyone's dressed appropriately. It's been quite the deep dive.
It really has. And it makes you think about the power of observation, of curiosity, of that relentless drive to solve problems and improve the lives of others.
It's a legacy worth remembering. Emperor Yan, the OG foodie, the innovator, the fashion icon, who knew? Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through ancient China. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those deep dives going.